American Airlines is rolling out a bunch of new Admirals Club Airport Lounge locations. Big plans in the works to modernize, add more food and drink options, and keep up with the Joneses. But with all of this news, is the American Airlines Citi Executive World Elite the best airline credit card? Well, that's what we're going to dissect here today. And this isn't just a card overview. Hopefully, this sparks some debate. By the way, I've held status with American for over a decade. I've redeemed millions of miles. I'll re-up my Platinum Pro status by the summer. And I'm pretty well versed with the American Airlines ecosystem. So if you like the way that I think about all this and you like the American Airlines specific content, make sure you check out my playlist. And make sure you comment down below. Let me know whether you agree or disagree. So in this video, I'll review the American Airlines Citi Executive World Elite MasterCard. I'll talk about how I leverage it in my overall strategy, if I actually spend on the card, how I maximize the credits and the benefits, if I believe it's worth the price tag, and I'll even compare it to a few of its top competitors. And I think you'll be surprised at the outcome. And if you already have this card, comment and let me know how your experience has been so far. But I wanted to get this out early in the video. People will always tell you to go with cards that earn a general currency, like the Chase Ultimate Rewards cards or American Express membership rewards. And then to anchor that with their travel card, like the Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve or the American Express Platinum. And in theory, they're right. If American Airlines decides to devalue their points, overnight, you could lose a ton of value. $2,000 worth of miles could drop down to $1,500 or less, just like that. Basically like what we've seen with our investment portfolios as of late. But for now, I have a strong case to at least challenge that perspective, especially if you want to redeem your miles for domestic routes or through the Caribbean or to Mexico. And if you take advantage of what this specific card can offer. But more on that shortly. American has so many routes and you can find such good redemption value. Plus, most of us are not looking to spend hours trying to find ways to transfer our points from Chase to Aeroplan, to book a domestic flight on United, or to use our AMEX points to transfer to Hawaiian, to shift to Alaska, to book select American Airlines flights. That's some next level stuff that most of us aren't willing to commit to. Plus, you can be a bit limited in availability with those strategies, and time is money. So earning American Airlines miles means you need to do one or multiple of the following three things: fly with the airline, spend within their ecosystem, or spend on their co-branded credit cards. So more on all this in just a minute, where it will all come together. So if you don't fly that often or don't fly that much with American Airlines is the best US airline. No, not in terms of 5-star service and luxury business class experiences, although they do have some new planes rolling out, but this is more for flight options and the ability to find good to great redemptions without having to transfer your points all over the place. The problem is you can't really build out a multi-card setup to earn American Airlines miles. Not yet at least, but we'll see what Citi has in store for us. But I've gone into extensive detail about all things American Airlines, the ecosystem, the e-shopping portal, American hotels, and more. And leveraging these strategies can get you to status in a fraction of the time. It's not like it used to be where you needed dozens of flights just to hit the bottom tier of status. You only need one card. And technically, you don't have to spend on it that often to get the miles and the loyalty points needed. So speaking of, the Citi Executive World Elite was the first co-branded airline credit card to move to this huge annual fee. $595 to be exact, but also to introduce a bunch of different credits and lounge access to offset that annual fee. This was really a smart move in my opinion, since most people, I'm looking at you, AMEX cardholders, don't take advantage of all the credits and the benefits with these cards. So if the banks don't make money off of your credit card debt, they make up a portion of that with these annual fees. And disclaimer here, if you can't see yourself using the credits and the lounge access that comes with this card, do yourself a favor. Don't get this card or any premium tier card for that matter. And I'll get into the main credits shortly, but something that does get a bit undervalued, especially if you travel with your family, is the free check bag for you and your entire party benefit. To me, this is almost like the free night award that comes with most hotel cards. Especially if you don't have status and you would have to pay for check bags. This perk alone can save you hundreds of dollars per year. Okay, so now to the main hook with this card. Unlimited Admirals Club Airport Lounge access. Airport lounges can completely change your travel experience and the way that you view connections or getting to the airport a little early. Depending on your viewpoint and how often you travel, the biggest way to get positive value out of the Citi Executive is by using the Admirals Club access that this card is equipped with. which is for the primary cardholder and immediate family, or up to 2 guests on the same reservation. And there's nearly 50 Admirals Club locations, 7 new ones on the way in 2025. And with all those locations, pretty much the only 2 ways to gain entry is if you're either flying business or first class internationally, or if you hold the Citi Executive card. Now, American is trying to step up their game to compete with the credit card branded lounges, like the American Express Centurion lounges, the Capital One and the Chase lounges. But at the present, they're not there yet. They're still a bit behind in terms of quality, offerings, and the overall aesthetic. Look, it's still a better overall experience than sitting in a loud, busy, congested terminal. Take Charlotte, which has the largest Admirals Club location. That location has been under renovation for the last couple of years. Honestly, I haven't even tried to visit it. I typically visit the American Express Centurion Lounge in Charlotte, which also is very busy, don't get me wrong, but usually I'm traveling through Charlotte on business. I'm flying solo, so the Centurion Lounge would be my first priority. And that would definitely be one of my recommendations with this card and Admirals Clubs in particular. If you're flying a lot with your family, I would definitely recommend the Admirals Clubs over Centurion lounges that come with the American Express Platinum, since you would have to pay for your guests to go into the Centurion lounges, whereas with the Admirals Clubs, you can take your family in at no additional cost. And that's exactly how I use it. At least I can take my wife and 2 kids, no additional costs. I can grab a beer or a coffee. I can get the kids a snack, and it's somewhat of a contained environment. Now, apparently there's a dual branded American Airlines Admirals Club lounge coming to Philly, and there's some other new locations. Also, there's going to be updated food and beverage options at LAX, Miami, and Reagan, which is most definitely needed. They desperately need to keep up with the Delta Sky Clubs and are being left in the dust by Capital One and Chase, in my opinion. But as for the cost, here in 2025, a day pass to Admirals Clubs will now run you $79 per person. Now, I would never place $79 in value to a visit to just about any lounge, but I definitely get closer to that in value for the Capital One lounges and the Chase lounges. But those locations have better food and drink options and spa services, things like that. But we're talking about Admirals Clubs here, and I know my opinion may be a bit jaded, but I do still hold the Citi Executive card as I have for a number of years, and I do visit these Admirals Clubs locations when convenient. I'm just trying to share my honest opinion after years of holding this card. So along with the Admirals Club access, there's 3 main credits that can reduce the annual fee by more than 50%. Plus there's a TSA PreCheck or Global Entry credit, and a few other things we'll cover as well. First is the $120 Grubhub credit. Now this is $10 a month, use it or lose it. Make sure you download the Grubhub app, enter your executive card info in here, and if you have other food earning cards like the American Express Gold, you can use this credit to order a sandwich or a poke bowl, pick it up after your kid's soccer practice, get over 50% off of a meal, and repeat it the next month. And I had mentioned the AMEX Gold. If you have that card, that also has a $10 dining credit monthly. So you could place 2 separate orders to the same place and knock out both of those dining credits just like that. So next is the Lyft credit, which is a bit of a nuisance. But if you take more than a few rides a month, this can be valuable. It's $10 a month, but you must take 3 rides, and then the credit will apply to the next ride. So it could be up to $120 in value if you use it every month. Same process here as the Grubhub credit. Add the executive card to the Lyft app, make sure it's the default payment, and away you go. Also, Citi merchant offers, similar to Amex or Chase offers, can help you get more value, especially with Lyft. Often you'll find 5% cash back on Lyft rides, but you do need to activate these in the app. Plus, Simply Miles from American can make this a 3-point stack. As an example, we took a Lyft ride the other night out to dinner, and you can see this Simply Miles offer for 230 miles and loyalty points with a minimum $25 Lyft ride. So for both the Citi merchant offers and Simply Miles, you do need to manually activate those. And they change every few months, so just make sure you're checking out which offers are available. Also, there's a $120 annual credit for Avis or budget. Thankfully, this one isn't monthly. It'll cover up to $120 in a prepaid Avis or budget rental. I've talked a lot about this credit and the ways that I get value out of it. Now, this card comes with secondary rental car coverage, meaning your personal coverage would kick in first for any claims. But if you have a card with primary CDW or collision damage waiver, think the Chase Sapphire cards, the AMEX Platinum, the Capital One Venture X, or the Ritz-Carlton Carlton card, but just note with the AMEX Platinum, you do need to activate the primary coverage and pay a small fee for each rental. With the others, you don't need to activate anything or follow any additional steps. All you need to do is pay the remainder of the reservation with one of these cards. So that way you're covered with primary rental insurance, but also maximizing that credit from the Citi Executive. So with these 3 credits, that's up to $360 in value, which also if you use that TSA PreCheck or Global Entry credit, you're down to a net annual fee of around $200. So on top of that, there's 2 10,000 loyalty point bonuses. Now this is exclusive to the Citi Executive card, but it's hard to put a dollar value to these bonuses since you don't redeem loyalty points. But you do hit certain loyalty point reward levels where you are awarded specific things, like if you see here on the website. So even at 15,000 loyalty points earned, you can choose some lower level rewards. Then at 60K, 100K, and a bunch more levels that most of us will never achieve. But they've introduced a few additional awards, like once you hit 100,000 loyalty points, you can now earn Discover status with Hyatt. And this is the lowest level of status with Hyatt, but still would take 10 qualifying nights. So there is some value here. And with these 10,000 loyalty point bonuses with the executive card, it would take multiple round trip paid domestic flights to earn 10,000 loyalty points. Probably somewhere around $1,500 to $2,500 worth of paid flights, depending on your level of status. And you get these 10,000 loyalty point bonuses at the 50,000 and 90,000 point mark. So technically it would only take 80,000 loyalty points and you could earn status both from American and from Hyatt. And that would be Platinum from American, Discoverist from Hyatt, or you can select President's Club from Avis. Now, if you can reach 175,000 loyalty points, you can actually earn the next tier up from Hyatt, that being Explorer status. But for earning miles and earning loyalty points and the difference in the two, make sure you check out my AA playlist so you can see how to go about this and the best possible strategies. Now, the earning with the executive card makes it at least competitive with some of the general tier travel cards, especially if you're after AA miles or you're trying to hit status. 4 miles per dollar on American Airlines flights, plus 10x for AA hotels and rental cars. And you earn more miles and loyalty points as your status improves, and this is both for paid flights and also for any spending in the American Airlines ecosystem. I've gone into a ton of detail on American Airlines hotels and the ways to use the ecosystem to fast track your status. So if you aren't loyal to a hotel chain and you want to max out your earning potential, this is a great way to do so. Now with hotels, my particular strategy, I aim for titanium status with Marriott each year while also using AA hotels a handful of times when it makes sense to do so. Now with the executive, you also get more of a priority experience with priority check-in lanes at the airport for your entire reservation. Sometimes this can save you 5 minutes. Sometimes this can save you well over a half hour. Also, group 4 boarding, which is the same as gold. So a nice perk if you need to carry on your bags or you have your kids in tow. So another thing with the executive card, it basically levels up to the premium tier travel cards in a lot of ways. As a few comparisons, take the AMEX Platinum that earns 5x on prepaid hotels in the AMEX travel portal, or the Venture X that earns 10x on hotels booked in the Capital One travel portal. Plus, Capital One has extremely limited or complex options to book domestic flights and get redemptions there, or the Chase Sapphire Reserve, 10x on hotels booked in the Chase travel portal. Now, I have nothing bad to say about the Sapphire Reserve or Chase overall, but Chase does not have access to American Airlines flights other than through Avios. And if you have status with American and you use the Citi Executive, you earn 10x on American Airlines hotels, sometimes even better with some of the mileage bonuses. And on American Airlines flights, you'd earn at least 9 miles per dollar on the paid flights. 5x of that being for a status member, 4x for using the executive card, plus more miles once you hit gold status or beyond. Now, over the long term, you may be better off using a general travel currency card. But if you're trying to build up your American Airlines miles, trying to hit status, and flying pretty often on American, you could argue the executive card is a better play here. So here's my take. If you travel around once per month or more and have a player 2 or a player 2 plus kids and fly American for at least half of your routes, if you connect through Charlotte or Philly or Miami, or fly out of airports that have a newer Admirals Club location, like Reagan, which has a newer location and does get pretty good reviews, it could most definitely be worth holding this card. Now, if you value the 3 main credits, pair that with a few AA hotel bookings each year, and at least 200 to 300 in value from those Admirals Clubs, you'll get more than enough value out of that $595 annual fee. But if you struggle with these 3 main credits, it's really hard to justify getting and holding this card, or any travel card for that matter. But if you want to see how to better leverage American Airlines hotels, check out this video here, or check out this playlist for all things American Airlines, and I'll see you there. Cheers.